Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Water and Wines. Today, Water and Wines, I'm already getting into the topic. Welcome to another episode of Cellar Talks, season 1 today and the last episode. So next week we're gonna start with season 2 already, but more about that later in the show. Today we're gonna talk about wine puzzles with Yamit, and she created something really cool a couple of months ago. Well, actually, it's a product where she's been working on for more than a year, I think. But let's get her into the show. Anybody drinking a glass of wine in the meanwhile? Tell us what you're drinking. I myself am drinking a red one today, after all the whites in the last episodes. But more about that later as well. So tell us what you're drinking. Always curious to see and to know. And let's see if we can get Mrs. Water and Wines in the show. Just 1 second. By the way, if you have any questions, just like every show, you can drop your questions in the bottom at the question mark box. So, look who's there. Welcome. So, are you ready for the show?
I'm ready for the show.
Very good. So, you're the last episode of season 1, and we're going to talk about some amazing cool stuff that you've been working on for quite a while. And it's interesting because when we first started talking, it was not about wine puzzles, it was about wine, which is one of your passions, but there is a lot more that you've been working on in the past, and that got you to where you are right now. So maybe we want to start with a quick introduction from your side. So about yourself, what you did, and how we got up until this point. So what we're going to discuss today, the puzzles.
Yeah, absolutely. So hello everyone, and thank you for having me, Nils. So my name is Yamit, and I'm based in Sweden, Stockholm, because so many have asked where is Water and Wines. My background is definitely not within wine or puzzles. It's actually more like business, finance, IT, and so on. And one day I just had a opportunity, let's call it an opportunity, to follow my passion and my dream. And I chose to study to become a sommelier. And little did I know by then that I will today be sitting here and talking to you about puzzles. The story has been long, and I did not know that this would end up to be puzzles. Because when you study wine,
that was not the starting point. I mean, the starting point was you learned about wine, you got totally immersed in the topic.
Exactly.
And then a lot of other things happened, because when was let's say the first time when you connected the puzzles with wine, and why? So how did it? What happened? I mean, it's happened over the past year, so people can guess that it has to do something maybe with Corona. But you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So in the beginning, so I graduated in December, and I got really sick after that, unfortunately, and that sickness held on for a very long time, and I was not able to do much with the time I had. So I was sitting home, and I did a lot of puzzles, and I just felt like this is also the time when Corona happened. And I just felt like the time was passing. I was newly educated, and I was not able to do anything with the knowledge I had. And I was sick, and I, for hours and hours, made these puzzles, and I didn't learn anything. And I felt like, why don't I combine all the questions I get from friends and so many others, and I also can give out to others in a different way, and I can still keep up the learning for myself. So that's where I came up with the idea, why don't make wine puzzles? But that was...
So basically you were trying to put the knowledge that you just gained to work, and also find something to do in the meanwhile, with whatever you could do at that moment, because there was not that much. But you started to do puzzles. But okay, I mean, there's a lot of people doing puzzles in the world. We're still not getting to the wine topic. Why do you think wines and puzzles and wines go hand in hand? What makes it so interesting that you decided to create a wine puzzle in the end?
To be honest, I don't know how many resonates with this, but before I got into wine, I took like small educations here, some online trainings there. I went to some trainings or like courses with my husband, like few occasions, 3 hours, 4 hours. And every time I went, I felt empowered. But every time time passed, I felt I lost the knowledge. And I don't think everyone has the time to become a sommelier or like invest in like learning about wine and reading all the books and everything, stay up to date. So sitting doing a puzzle is for me exactly what I needed when I did my like diploma or when I became a sommelier. Like sitting for hours and looking at the pieces, and you know exactly like, okay, this is Loire. Loire is where, like,
So
what
you're
kind.
memorizing, but you're also, while you're doing an activity, you're practicing it basically.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like writing the maps, so you can draw the maps and try to memorize them by drawing them. In this case, somebody else drew them in a great way, but we'll come to that later and on how you came to
Yes,
this great design. But it's practice by doing, basically.
it is, and you sit with them for at least a couple of hours, so you will be forced to learn. That's
And you
it.
can even take a glass of wine or a bottle of wine with it, so you can learn from the bottle and the wine that you're drinking, plus what's on the puzzle. So it's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
Very
Hopefully, it's
good.
a win-win.
Very good.
Yeah.
So obviously everybody is curious about the puzzle, so we're going to show some pictures. We're coming very close to, well, I wouldn't say the end of the project, because I think you've got a lot more in store. So I don't think it's the end station. It's more like, okay, there is a stop and then we go on to the next journey, I would say, maybe.
Yeah.
But we can also talk about that, because we also got some questions in about, okay, we see that you have 3 puzzles now, but what's going to come next? So later more about that. But first about the wine, because you are a very good guest, I have to say. You prepared well. When I said take a glass of wine, you came up with 3 bottles. So maybe the people saw it, but you had 3 bottles of wine. Maybe quickly recap, which ones did you select from?
So I chose between a Brunello Montalcino 2012,
Mm-hmm.
and I chose between what was the other one? It was also Axima Vevero
I
2000.
couldn't correct you on that because it's really
Thank
difficult.
you.
But the Greek wine, right?
Yes, 2017, because I was in Santorini and I absolutely fell in love with that grape. And then I chose between this one, which is the Dalmatian dog. It's a Croatian one. It's Babic.
And
Babic?
this is the winner of the day, right?
This is the winner of today.
Look how
Yes.
cute the dog is. Well, I don't know if he's really cute or he's smiling, but he looks a bit terrified. It's terrifying as well. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, maybe we have to ask you what it tastes like, because is it sweet or is it like bitter, or
It's not like
because
how the
it's a
dog
grape
looks.
variety that we don't know. I mean, you did have it before, right?
Yeah, I did. I did. And this is maybe the fourth or fifth time I buy the same
Ah,
bottle. And that's not a usual thing for me. I can tell you that because I'm like, I really want to try new wines all
new
the time.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, and but this is like very herby, fruity. It's oak fermented, but it's not that you. It's in a 500 liters French oak. It's malolactic fermented.
So not much influence of the oak, which
No,
it
no.
supports the wine basically, but it's not there to add all these flavors that you would typically get from.
Exactly, exactly. And so fermented in 24 degrees, and I think it was for 5 or 8 months, maybe 8 months. Um,
And from
Maturation.
Croatia. Croatia is not a country
Yeah.
what you would think about of when you are selecting a wine. I mean, limited knowledge that I have, it's not one of my top wine countries.
No, and I have this is the thing, because what I like with these new upcomers are that this bottle is so affordable because of the quality. I
Hmm.
mean, the quality is amazing. I would probably pay double as much for the bottle, but due to the fact it's from Croatia and Sweden, Swedes, because I'm in Sweden, like
Yeah.
I said in the beginning, we're not used to Croatian wine, so we don't know the quality of this wine. But this one is like, it's perfect. Acidity is perfect. It's very balanced. You can
And
drink it like.
it stuck with you because it's the 5th time, like you said, something like that, that you were drinking it.
Yeah.
So cheers. Um,
Yay! But cheers for everyone too.
cheers. For me, it's I'm going back to episode number 1, so I thought it would be fitting to look back at the start of the season. The first guest that we had was Daniele Palazza, great winery in the Piemonte and the Ruero. So one of his wines, Antionello Reserva, which is a Nebbiolo. It's a blend, but mainly Nebbiolo, but it's not a typical Barolo one, so it's a little bit softer. But it's one of the wines that Daniele Palazza gave me. And for the people who watched the first show, great guy, great family, great winery. So we're combining Italy with Croatia today.
Oh, you're drinking his wine right
I'm
now.
drinking his wine.
Wow.
He was kind enough to send me a couple, so I'm still working on that. But a
Nice.
review on this one later on the Instagram.
Nice. Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about puzzles now, because in the end we're here to talk about puzzles.
Yep.
And let me also open up a picture here. Some people might have already looked on the website. I suppose a lot of people looked on the website, so it's not totally new maybe. But just to give an overview, at the moment you created 3 different puzzles, right?
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about the 3 countries and why you picked those 3 countries?
I guess that was due to the fact that when we did the exams, these were obviously one of the main countries we have to learn so much about. So I don't know if everyone knows, but obviously maybe you don't. When I did these, when I did the whole concept, I did it for myself. So this started out as a passion. I never thought I would even be sitting here. So I wanted to start out with the countries that I wanted and needed to learn the most. And that was obviously the old world, Spain, France, and Italy. And that's where this came up with. So that's the answer.
Okay, cool. And it makes sense because they're also complex countries. It's not that they're very easy to learn and to understand. Then if we go a little bit more in depth, because we don't want to spoil everything here, but of course people are curious to see a little bit more about the puzzles. We have, for example, let's take France. So, of course, it needs to fit into the screen, so it's not a high resolution picture. You actually need a high resolution picture because the details are so great that you would actually need to see it in full detail. But that was a little bit about how the puzzles are made and what people can find on the puzzles. So obviously there's the cities I see, but what more is there?
So when we started this, I will tell you already, I work with one of the best designers in the world, according to myself and according to many, as I see. What we did was, the whole concept is, I inform him and I tell him like the concept, this is what we are going to draw, and he's drawing it. But he's a mastermind in drawing, obviously, as you can see. So in the maps you can find regions, appellations, grapes, and all the geographic data you need to know that's more or less important, like mountains, lakes, seas, water, and so on.
So all the influences that the terroir basically also brings to the wine.
Except that we don't talk about like the soils. Exactly. That's probably in the future. And I mean, it's very hard to make maps to fit in everything. And for France was our first project, and we didn't know how wide or how depth we should go. So France is still our, like, now it's the one that has probably less information than Italy and Spain. And what we want to do with the help, because like I told you in the beginning, I want to co-create with the people of the wine world and the puzzle world. I would like to know, like, because my knowledge now is that I would like to add more to the French map. But maybe people are fine with this because it's a fantastic knowledge already, but there's like, we didn't add everything because you can't.
You have to choose some things you can, and then you have to leave others out because not everything goes hand in hand, and it also needs to be understandable for people on different levels, right? I mean, not everybody is on the same wine level.
True, and that's also a very big challenge because people are like, I'm a VZ or I'm a diploma or I'm VZ one level, first level. So I hope you will be satisfied, but I'm so open to feedback.
Okay, cool. So one question that already came, we answered already. Did you draw the puzzles? But you told us a little bit about it. You have a great designer, but actually you have a great team behind you. It's not just a great designer. There's different people working on it. Can you tell us a little bit about how you put this team together and what kind of people are in the team and where are they from?
So the team is like, I have a designer and art director. He's based in Italy. He is the one who hand drew all the paintings, and every detail is specifically there for a reason. Because if you make 1,000 pieces puzzle, which I made a lot of, you want to know which piece goes where, even if it's going to be difficult, but you need to know. So that's it. And then I have an expert team of sommeliers who are in the top level, who check the puzzles. Hopefully they're all right. There might be some minor mistakes, hopefully not, but there might. And if you find some, we're happy to take the feedback. But anyway, and they check all the maps. We have map screeners who checks maps, the orientation, and so on.
So you're putting a lot of effort in it to be correct. I mean, it's not never 100% correct. I don't think it should be, because there is also beauty in things that are not perfect. But I think that you can say that everybody who is in, just to talk about levels, not everybody is on a WSAT level, but if you're level 2, level 3, you can learn from these puzzles, even up to level 3. There's stuff to learn, to find in the puzzles which you didn't know. So I think it's, for a wide range of people, it's very appealing and interesting from the educational perspective. So we're not talking about the leisure perspective, because obviously it's fun to do the puzzles.
True.
Because
And I mean,
what's today?
It's the National Puzzle Day.
It's the National Puzzle Day. So it's very fitting that we're here. Now we see Italy in the picture.
Yeah.
And so you already told us that this was one of the two that came later. So France was the first one, and then Italy and Spain came. So you see, obviously, Italy is also a difficult country. There's a lot of different regions, and in the regions there's a lot of differences. So it's really difficult to try to pick and choose and choose what you want and what you're gonna leave out for the moment, at least. So what are some of the things that you found about Italy that you didn't know, that you wanted to do in the puzzle, because you think, okay, this is something that I didn't know, people should know, and it's really interesting detail, for example, or a fun fact?
Like everything.
There's a lot. I know. I mean, you don't have to pick one, but there must be something where you're like, okay, this particular topic was something that I didn't study, for example. But for example, one of the experts that you're working with pointed out it would be cool to put this one, for example, in the Italy map.
Yeah, and definitely. I mean, I knew Italy had many different grapes and many different names for the grapes. But I guess I never imagined, because when we resource the information to the maps, it's not only me, it's different kind of people, but also when we use the sources, we use the biggest sources in the world, like Janice Robinson, Parker, and many others. And what I didn't understand would be that there are so many grapes that I was not aware of that are so important in so many regions. And I think that was the most difficult part because if France, you're not saying France is, I guess France is so accessible and has been a bit accessible for so many years. And we know
Bordeaux is a brand on its own when you talk about wine. And okay, we have differences within Bordeaux, but Bordeaux, everybody knows when you order a red Bordeaux wine, what that sort of is. They maybe don't know what's in the wine in terms of which grapes, but they know what a red Bordeaux wine is. But for Italy, it's different. So, like you said, they even have different names for the same grape. So how did you choose? So how did you try to find what one universal way of dealing with that? Because I know you have to make choices, but I myself, for example, have been looking for a very detailed map of Italy on a Grand Cru or Cru level, but that's impossible to find because every
Yeah.
region this makes their own rules basically. So how did you pick and choose there?
I mean, I went to a really good school, according to me. I studied in Sweden, called Vinkällan, and I think they did a properly good job with like learning us the regions and the grapes and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And I took that information, obviously, what they taught me in school, and I also added the information that I read about the different areas from the professionals. So, and then I checked it with professionals, like really good. I consider myself to be a good sommelier and well educated, but
Mm-hmm.
seriously, I'm not in the top level of the people I've checked it with. And many of them say, obviously, you are missing this and you can add this and you can do this. But in the general, like you did so much you can do with the space you have.
Yeah.
And next level is like deep dive into regions. And that's what our next map is about. But I want to know more about what the market thinks that we should do in the next regions.
Yeah.
So this is what we have done with the very limited space we have, because it's only 50 times 70 or something like that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
50 times. Yeah.
There's a
So
lot of pieces, but the let's say the space that you have in general is small for everything you want to
exactly.
show.
Exactly. And you trust me, you don't want to read text if you're going to do a puzzle, because then you can read a book.
It's more about the pictures, huh?
And the colors, so your
Yeah,
mind can like starting to,
colors.
yeah. It's very like we read about a lot about psychology and how you do, yeah. Yeah.
You had a lot of, I know because we talked about it before. In your home, you had like, I don't know, maybe hundreds of different puzzles to see
Okay.
what the differences are between all these puzzles.
You had
Can
to
you tell us?
mention that?
Yeah, I had to mention this. I wanted to show the picture with all the puzzles, but I didn't have it anymore. So people want to see the room where all the puzzles are at now, right
Yeah.
now.
It's creepy.
Yeah, no, but it's to be honest, it's you have now three great puzzles, as you said, three countries: France, Italy, Spain, and you're looking into expanding. Obviously, what are the things you're looking to expand in different countries, different regions? You already said that you want to ask the audience, but also people in general that to give their input. So, give us a little bit of a sense of direction where you're looking at.
So the next coming months will be production of 3 to 6 maps, 3 countries and 3 regions. And as from the feedback we received, it will probably be Champagne, Bordeaux, and Burgundy so
Okay.
far. And that's the regions. And then we have countries as New Zealand, Australia, and South Africa.
Okay, super cool. So you're also going in the new world.
Yeah, definitely.
Very good.
This was the old world, and then we go back to new world, and then old world, and we do.
You go all around the world.
Of course, this is
Very
so
good.
much fun.
Now, I wanted to wait with this question, but I can't wait until the end of the show
Go
because
for it.
obviously I see the question coming by all the time. 2 questions. First
Okay.
question, when can we buy the puzzles?
Okay, so this is the big news. I think I didn't post it on Instagram yet. So it arrived to Sweden today. We have
So
been
they're
waiting.
there. They're in Sweden.
They are in Sweden. They are here. I haven't seen them yet myself, but I will go and see them tomorrow. So they are in Sweden, which means that they will be available as soon we have set the systems together with the warehouse and our own system. And hopefully, because we have been working day and night to make this happen quickly as possible, because we have a very high demand. Thank you.
Did you just say possible or possible?
I think I said possible.
Yeah, I think you did.
I think I did.
You carry on because people are getting excited here right now. This is
Oh my gosh.
This is an official release, sort of, right?
I think this is actually the official release, because this is the day we have been waiting for, and it's on the international and national puzzle day.
Couldn't be any better day.
It couldn't. I'm so happy that we're even having this talk, because this talk we booked for months, and I
It's
mean, I
I
didn't know
deliberately
this.
put you in the back at the last show, so to give you some time, because I know you were very working with a lot of details on everything, and you were never
Yeah,
really satisfied because there's always something you want to improve. That's
yeah,
how you are also as a person. I think it's a good thing. So I was saying, okay, let's do you at the last part of the season in the last show, but it worked out because now they're in Sweden, so it's just a small step before
yeah,
they can be shipped, and well, they can be ordered and they can be shipped.
yeah, yeah. That's
So
true.
people need to
So
be quick now, because otherwise you run out, because then you have to go for a second print
yes,
batch.
yes, yes, that's true, and it's a very limited edition. So if I would be a puzzle lover or wine lover, and I would like to have these,
Can
I
people
would.
get a signature from you on it if they want?
Yes, that's doable. Some
Is that
people are.
doable?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
yes,
because
that's
they're limited
doable.
edition, right? So I
But
think that's fitting for a first.
yeah, but I don't want to
Very.
break the beautiful package. I will like write a personal note to the
Or a
ones
note
who
on it.
ask for it.
That's super cool. Notes are
Yeah,
always good. Handwritten notes, preferably. Good.
definitely.
So, really good news. Price. Obviously, it's just in Sweden, so it's difficult just to come up with the price right now. But people are asking, what can we expect to see for a price for the puzzle? You have any information on that yet?
Yeah, yeah, we do. So thanks to our beautiful audience who helped us so much today, because we sent out a survey, and I cannot thank you enough. And you will get rewarded for that. Don't worry. The price will be 40 euros.
Cool. 40 euros. That's super cheap if you're asking me, because I mean, you're not only getting a 1,000-piece puzzle of the highest quality and the coolest design, but you're also getting an educational asset that helps you to understand wine. So every time you do this puzzle, you will probably learn something else. So it's not a puzzle that you do one time. You will probably be working a lot on it and trying again and again and absorbing all the information on it.
Yeah, and you will also, I have to say this, you will also, because once again, when I did it for myself, I thought like, what would I need and want in a puzzle? So I added a poster in full size,
Mm-hmm.
and not the same quality as the posters that you will be able to buy like differently,
So
but a
you're
very.
gonna sell posters as well.
Yes, yes. For the ones that doesn't like puzzle, they really want
Cool.
high quality posters. So I added the high quality posters into the business as well. But in the puzzle, you will have like a really full size poster, really good quality, obviously. So if you want to frame that one, you can, because it's
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just being folded. So I'm just saying that. You also will get a puzzle stand, which means a puzzle nerd as myself, there is a reason why you want a puzzle stand, because when you do the puzzle lid always falls, and it's
Yeah.
quite annoying. So we have created a puzzle stand where the puzzle like lid will stand up, but since the puzzle is so small, the picture on the lid is so small, that's why we included the whole poster.
Mm-hmm.
And it's made in soft velvet, which means it's very like, I don't know, it's so soft and cozy and nice.
You want to touch it all the time,
Yes, I do.
basically.
It's like it's crazy nice. And you can actually, because I've been running so many tests, you can put it together and you can like do it like this, and it won't fall in pieces because
So
it's the
it won't
quality.
fall apart if you just hold it like this.
No.
When you have like a piece of paper
Yeah.
like this.
If you
Wow.
put the pieces together, like it won't fall. And what else? I added also
But that puzzle stand, just one second.
yeah,
That puzzle
yeah,
stand,
sorry.
I didn't know that it was important. So how did you find
It
out?
is.
Because you were doing puzzles, but before you did all these puzzles, you knew that there was puzzle stands, because I didn't know.
I didn't know, but I looked at someone, or like the person who we are in contact with. He said like, the puzzle lid you are going to produce is very small, and he sent me a similar puzzle, and I made it. And he said like, they have made this beautiful puzzle stand, a bit different than ours. And he said, I think that's a beautiful suggestion, and that's why we included it. And it was impossible to do the puzzle because it was just literally falling all the time, because the puzzles are always, the lids are always so much more
Mm-hmm.
weight like downwards. So that's the reason. And you can do that with exactly.
We're going to show you something, because
It's
this
amazing.
is what it's all about. This is what helps you to keep the lid standing right up, right?
Yeah,
You've
that's
got these great colors. I mean, they're. I don't know who picked the colors, the designer, or did you pick the colors?
designer. Yeah,
It's a great
designer.
choice. I mean,
Yeah, he's
this is the
amazing.
green one. We have the orange one as well, and we have obviously the blue one for France. Was France blue? Yeah.
Yeah, Francis
Yeah.
Blue.
Yeah. There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
And if you
Super
look at the
cool.
small logo over there, we
Yeah.
plant a tree for every puzzle that's sold as well.
So okay, cool. So where are you gonna plant the trees? Any particular country? The
The
country for the
different
puzzles, or
countries. Like
okay?
we already gave away 1,000 trees before even we started this company,
Super
um,
cool.
just to like do it for the heart of it. And then we also gave away water, and that's something we want to give away, continue to give away from the revenue.
Yeah, and I want to stress this point because we just talked about the price, and we talked about, I mean, the fact that I think that it's really cheap, or cheap is not the right word, because that would suggest that it's not worth something, but it's a really great price. But still, you find room to give away trees and water. So this tells me something about you. It tells me something that you're not in it to make huge amounts of money, basically.
Mm, mm.
It's a business, but you're also very conscious about what you're giving back, and you're even conscious about what you're using to make the puzzles, because we talked a little bit about the materials, but all the materials that you're using are also environmental friendly.
Yes, and we everything is recyclable and so on. So yes, and we're looking. I just had a conversation with the producer today, and they're produced in Europe to make the shipment as short as possible. And I don't want to produce anywhere else. And I try to find even producers that's even closer to Sweden. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, we still have to have a global shipment. But I want everything to be as
Yeah,
closest to Sweden as possible. But yeah, we try to, but it's hard. I mean, in the bag or in the puzzle we also included a zip bag, and that's also like, instead of, that's plastic, I totally know, but instead of you losing a piece and you order a new puzzle and you are like shipping another
yeah,
one, we rather try to like eliminate the possibility for you to lose pieces if you want to share it with a friend instead of them buying a new one. So it's more like nicer to maybe give a puzzle away in a zip bag instead of it's lying completely around in the puzzle box.
yeah,
But I also spoke to the producer today and I asked, like, what's if we go totally like non-plastic? Are there options for that? Yes, but then obviously I have to talk to the market.
yeah,
Do they want to have it in a paper bag?
yeah.
Maybe you do, I don't know.
Yeah, but I think you're going a long way already, so compliments for that.
Thank you.
I also see somebody in the audience saying that he's doing a lot of puzzles lately, but never stumbled upon a puzzle stand. So for him, it's the first. I think it's him, but I'm not sure, I couldn't see. But it's the first, and they always use a glass of wine or something to keep it up. Well, that's actually a good choice, to be
That's
honest. I
good
mean,
choice too.
but
But
you
now
want
you
to, and
can
what if you
change
want
the
to
wine.
drink the wine, and then you have to pick the glass, and the box falls down, the lid falls down? Please send links to puzzles. It's quite simple, Yamit. Tell the people where they need to go.
Oh, it's waterandwines.com.
Waterandwines.com.
And they
So,
are not yet available, but soon, next week.
not yet available. Okay. Yeah, people are okay. Now everybody's dropping off the show and going to your website. So thank you. There goes my audience.
All right.
Another question. Obviously, people all around the world are reading this and watching this, and also expressed on your Instagram that they want to buy it. So you mentioned already worldwide shipping. So it's going to be really available in all, let's say, general countries. I wouldn't say the small islands somewhere in the Southern Pacific, but
I will do
it's
my
available
best.
all over the world, basically.
I have been working, like I told you, I've been working 24/7 to make this happen. My warehouse were not able to make the shipment, and I've been calling the shipment companies to tell them I want them globally, at least the first limited edition. I mean, I want people to be able to have this. Obviously, they will be able to ship them later too, but I'm fighting for it.
Very good.
But there are some countries that won't accept any packages. I can't do anything about that.
No packages from Sweden or just in general?
General right now due to
Corona.
yeah.
Okay, that's bad. Well, maybe after when it goes away, then obviously people can still order, and then they will accept the packages again.
I will hold them personally for them.
Very good. So we talked about the puzzles. We talked about the posters, which you're going to sell with a picture of the puzzles, basically. So in a big format. So people who don't want to go through the effort of making the whole puzzle, which I would recommend to do, because this is why you learn a lot, because you're creating something, you're learning, creating in the same time. But a third thing that I was interested in is that you have something which resonates to the objects that you have on the puzzles. Let me go here. This is an overview of, for example, the wines, and well, the print is a little bit difficult to read, but tell us what we see here, because when I saw this the first time, I was like, okay, this is part of the puzzle, but on its own it's even cool, because when I'm studying Nebbiolo, for example, I try to memorize every, let's say, main flavor or main scent that's in the Nebbiolo wines and grapes. So this is already cool on its own. What is this?
So this is the back side of the puzzle, and this is the thing I've been struggling with, because in the puzzle I wanted to add everything. So when you see the grapes in the puzzle, when you see a name, you will have different kind of illustrations. There will be smoke, there will be honey, there will be bees, there will be, I don't know, blueberries, blackberries, and those are the characteristics of the normal characteristics of the grape.
Yeah.
And they can be different in various parts of the country. So what I wanted to do, because it's so hard to do like tell me a Merlot in Bordeaux or a Merlot in Chile, because they're completely different. But you said Nebbiolo. Nebbiolo is very Barolo. Yeah. But then you have Nebbiolo as a primary character, you have a secondary character, and you have a tertiary character. And how do you put them into a map? Or how do you put them in a very short translation? Because we know people doesn't want to read. So this is what we finally, after months and months, came up with. Trying to add a bit of the primary, a bit of the secondary, and a bit of the tertiary. And also writing an explanation, and also a food pairing.
So you have actually, the puzzle is two-sided. That's what it is.
No, this is the rear side of the back side of the puzzle box.
Of the box. Okay, so this one they don't have to complete. This one they get already for free without doing the work.
Exactly. They can go to a store and take a picture if they want to.
First they have to make the puzzle, then they can look on the back, obviously.
Yeah. No, but this was an option if we would print it on the back side of the puzzle. Yeah. But then we were like, nah, too complex. Maybe on the back side of the poster, but then we thought like people
might get confused, because then you have two sides and they go mixed up. So you have some sides that are upside down, and it might get difficult. I think this is a better choice, to be honest. But it's really detailed. Talk about Merlot, what's in the Merlot, and I would just throw, and I don't think my course leader is liking what I'm just going to say now, but I would just go and throw away my WSET book and just bring the puzzle with me, because everything is on the puzzle, right?
I hope so. I really hope so. And if not, get back to me, please.
No, I think we are very complete here.
Oh, so thank you.
A question from our last guest, because I asked every guest a question for the next upcoming guest. So last week we talked to Jean Belandraat, and Jean is going to watch the show. I'm not sure if he's watching right now, but he's going to watch the recording at least. And I asked him, do you have a question for Yamit? And we talk about the topic. So I explained to him what we're going to talk about, wine puzzles. Okay. And he said to me, well, there's this thing. I don't like sharing puzzles. And I think there's more people like me that don't want to share their puzzle. But if you would want to do a puzzle with somebody else together from the wine world, so a winemaker or a master sommelier or a critic or whoever, who would that person be because that would mean that you would spend a lot of time with this person in one room to create this, to make this puzzle. So who would the person be? Who would you pick to do a puzzle with, and why? I think this is a
Easy.
very good question. It's easy for you to answer.
Easy.
Tell us who.
It's you, Nils.
Oh, and why would you pick me? I'm not the wine expert here, so.
Well, you are, let's say, to be honest, you're the first one who really were like, let's do this. I want to interview you. I want to talk to you. And we have been having so good conversations and so many good talks. And I guess there are plenty of people in the wine world I would like to meet. And they're amazing people, but they're not the ones who are sitting here with me right now, right?
Cool. Well, I take it, and let's do it. I mean, it means we have
I'd
to be
love
together for
to.
a couple of hours. We'll probably need one bottle of wine or more than one, I guess. I don't know, how long do people on average? 2 bottles. You take the Dalma Dog and I take the Pelasso wine.
Yes.
And how long do people, did you research how long people do on a 1,000-piece puzzle on average? I have no clue. How long?
I read so many different articles, but it's between like 5 to 13 hours.
Okay.
Depending on how often you do them, obviously. Like you can do them in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But
no, but we're going to be stuck in one room for just the whole long period of time.
Very long time.
Yeah, so I'll have to come to Sweden because you got great nature here there, so it's no shame being stuck there. That's
here is everything is open. You're welcome.
Yeah. And you also you also drink great wines. I have to say to the people that are not watching you or following you on the Instagram yet, because of course since late there's a lot of pictures about puzzles, but there's also a lot of pictures about great wines and interesting stories behind wines. And what I like is that you don't always go for let's say the usual suspects. So you try to come up with new grape varieties or countries, like you said, because you want to learn. So I also encourage people to follow you if they are not doing that already, because this is also great content.
Thank you. You too.
So we're already talking about 45 minutes, and when we started, I was like, okay, I've got a couple of guests, and one of them is we're going to talk about wine puzzles. Am I going to be able to talk for 1 hour about wine puzzles? Well, might be a little bit tricky, but I don't think we have to be afraid of that because we're already a long way here. But are there some questions maybe that you got in? Because I need to ask. I know that you asked some people if they had any questions, or do you want to maybe ask yourself a question to the audience that we didn't get to?
Do I want to ask myself a question?
Or the audience, I mean.
Oh, the audience, myself. Yeah. I have so many questions I need to ask myself, but the audience, no, or yes, like, are you happy with this? Do you have any further questions? Can I do anything more for you tonight talking about this? Is there anything you need to know, want to know, or else you just contact me after? That's fine too.
I think a lot of people are already have already signed up, because I know that you see people typing very happy in caps lock, so that means happy, a lot happy.
I'm happy you're happy. Yeah, sorry.
Very good. And I know that a lot of people already found their way to your website, so I would encourage everybody to do that if they haven't done so, because they can leave their email address there, right?
Yes.
And then they will get a notification, obviously, when they can come back and order the puzzles.
Yeah, and tomorrow we will visit the warehouse where we see the puzzles for the first time.
Are you going to share some content about that?
Yes, trust me.
So maybe a video or a picture?
Yes, I would. Cool. That's the first thing. I will share it, like when I walk in and see them. Yeah, I will share it with you. I promise.
Very cool. So having talked a lot about the puzzles, having talked a lot about you and everything that happened before you, now we're at this stage where you created the puzzle and it's finished. Is there anything else which you want to do? You talked already about next countries you want to work on, or regions, sort of a spin-off project maybe, because I know you're always full of ideas and very creative. So maybe we're still missing out on something, and I don't want to keep the audience from any scoops that we still can get out of you, because we already got a lot. So more maybe.
Right now, I'm just like puzzles, yes, but is there anything else we can do? Is there anything else we can give to the
Oh,
community?
there is a good suggestion from the audience, and
Oh, what's
it's a
that?
joke, but I like it. 3D puzzles to
Ooh.
include soil. So in the Ziploc bag, we can put some soils, obviously.
Yeah, different kind of soils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you
you have
do
to.
you go and do the soil picking? Is that
Yeah,
okay
we
for
have
you,
to.
Nets?
Yeah, we have to watch out because, for example, in the Rhone you have these big boulders, and in the Mosel you have the slate stones. So if we have to include all the stones, probably the shipping cost is going to go through the roof, and we don't want that, right? And not
No.
because of the cost, but also because of the environment, right?
Yes,
And
yes,
if we pick
yes.
all the soil, how can they make the great wines?
Yeah, we skip that. But thank you for a very creative idea.
I like 3D because I know
That's super
there's also
hard.
3D maps available with,
Mm,
let's say, relief on the height differences on different vineyards levels. So it's
yeah.
actually not a bad idea. I think we should think more about it that as well. Okay. Then let's open up to see if there's any questions from the audience. For the people that are watching right now that haven't heard before, but if you have a question now, you can drop it in the chat because we're following. Sometimes it's difficult because we're having the conversation and it's difficult to see. And also we have a question mark at the bottom, so where people can put private questions to me and to you, and then we can answer them as well. So there is this balloon with a question mark which you can click on, and there you can put your questions. There is one question: do you have a distributor in the Netherlands yet? I don't think you have distributors, but I don't think you're planning on working with them, right? You're doing this direct, or?
We have received so many questions about this, and we don't have a distributor in Netherlands yet. And we will be working with distributors,
Okay.
but we hadn't or haven't had the possibility or the time yet to even contact anyone or to take up the discussion. But I'm very appreciating that you are asking, and please contact me after.
Okay, cool. I
Good
think it
question.
would also be a good idea for educators, let's say course providers for WSET, to offer that as an extra to the people that are taking courses with them, because like I said, I was just joking that I throw away my WSET book, but I think it's a great value add. So instead of offering, for example, wines to taste and different tasting wines, you could expand your portfolio as a course provider by offering puzzles, which I think is a great way to learn. So all about that. Okay, no questions, further questions now. So let me take some time to talk about what's next, and maybe in the meanwhile somebody will come up with one more question, because you're the last guest, but
Last
already I
but
shared
not
the.
least.
You were the best guest, so but already I shared the news that we're going to go for season 2, so we're not going to take a break. We're going to go on next week, and next week we're going to have a great winery from Germany. Actually, it's, I think, one of the top, at the moment, the top 3 or 5 producers in Germany.
Nice.
Weingut Wittmann from
Oh,
Rheinhessen.
are
And
you
they have,
serious?
yeah, they have great Rieslings. So for everybody who doesn't know, but I think you know because you're very enthusiastic about it. But they're really making great wines, and I've already
Yes.
posted about it before. Well, we're gonna taste obviously with them wine as well. But a question that you would have for the winery, because Whitman is a very interesting guest, but obviously you get to ask a question as well for our next guest.
Wow.
So you can think about it for a minute, or maybe you already know. I mean,
Does he want to puzzle my puzzle?
that's an obvious question. Probably the answer is yes. Can we
Does
have an
he?
extra question? Because this is an easy one.
Wow, that's an impressive guest.
They're only impressive guests. That's why you're on my show.
Yeah,
Right?
I know. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I need to keep the quality level very high on all the shows.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're actually let's say in a good company, because you're in the season where I have a best-selling author I had winemakers, prize-winning winemakers. I have a person who created the coolest product of the year, the wine puzzles. I have a very interesting wine educator that made wine maps, which I think are very compatible, by the way, with the puzzles. So I think everybody fits in the same group and in the same class. But what are we going to ask them besides the fact that obviously we're going to ask them if they want to do a puzzle or your puzzle? But then the question would be from them, why don't you have Germany?
Exactly. So, but that will come. That will come. Germany
okay.
it's on the list. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Okay.
Oh
Germany's
my
on the
God.
list as well.
My classmates, they were crazy about the producer, but also about Germany. So I would never.
I know that a lot of people in the Nordics buy, especially Riesling, but a lot of German wines as well. So, yeah. Hey, Daniela is watching. Hi, Daniela. Daniela, I'm drinking your wine, by the way, still. So, the box is almost empty, so if you have some more, feel free to share. And I think Yamit is also curious, so if you can buy them in Sweden, I think you're exporting to Sweden, I'm not sure, then I would suggest to check out Palassa wines as well.
Yeah, many are, after your presentation about the wine.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's easy to talk about great products like this wine and these puzzles. So, I mean, some products sell themselves, I would say.
That's good. Good quality.
The same with the puzzles. I have no other questions. So for the people, just to tell them that if they go on the website with me, they see the lineup for next season. We're going to start next week. We're going to go on for 6 more episodes. And we're going to go also in the New World countries. So you were mentioning which countries were you looking at for the New World?
New Zealand, Australia, South Africa. Countries?
South Africa is on my list. So we're going to talk about South Africa in one of the episodes, and we're going to have a winemaker from South Africa.
That's nice.
So I will be sure to mention that you're working on a puzzle from their country as well. So very cool.
You should, because they're really struggling right now. So keep them up.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, and it's actually this year's harvest, or let's say this year's wine, this year's vintage that's coming out is really great. So it's a shame that it's coming at this moment, but there's some great wines there, obviously. Yeah, so we need to promote them as well. And like you said, there's a lot of things to discover all around the world. So I'm happy that you're not stopping after France, Spain, and Italy.
No, Bulgaria. I want to do them all.
You want to do them all. You want to do Croatia, and then I'm sure there will be a Dalmatian dog on the puzzle as well, right?
Very similar to my smile. Anyway.
Very good.
Niels?
So, Yamit, thank you very much for your time, because there are no further additional questions. I think everybody's now off to your website. So you'll probably get an avalanche of email requests right now. I hope that you have enough puzzles to make everybody happy, but if you run out of puzzles, probably you're going to go for a second print. I don't doubt about that. So people, stay tuned. If you haven't already left your email address on the website, do so, because I think Yamit's going to send us in the next week or weeks the exact information on the price and how to buy them, but we already had some scoops today, so good. And thank you for being on the show. And well, maybe some last words from you before we close up.
Thank you. And the question for him would be, because we never came to that, would be, if he didn't make wine, like what would he do instead?
Okay, so if they were not in the wine business, what business or what else?
Yeah, kombucha, I don't know, tea, sake, there are many.
Making puzzles every day.
Puzzles? I mean. No, kidding. He's welcome.
Very good. Thank you very much, Yamit.
Thank you, Niels.
Have a great evening, and we'll stay in touch. And everybody, make sure that you subscribe. I can't say enough. I can't say that enough. And I hope we can get the puzzles at our home soon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a nice evening,
everyone. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.